30. Il est vraiment long. Hein. Alright, this should be on now. I'm back. Let me know if you can hear and see. Well, I think the video is working, but there's a really long delay, like easily 30 seconds. Yay! So I have a studio assistant today that you saw. She wants some friends today. Little Scout. Alright, so yay, awesome! Hi everyone, hi, I see that Dan is here, and Cyan, and Otto, and Paulo, and Lee, hi Lee, and Sukabu is here too, and Kennedy, hi, Avery, hi. How is everyone today? Yeah, I have great studio assistants. Their main job is to put hairs in everything, and also to look cute and to steal my chair. Yeah, that's Scout. Oh, happy birthday, Paulo! Yay! Happy birthday, Paulo! Happy birthday, Paulo! You couldn't see, but I was dancing too. Alright, so before I start, I want to show you guys the the last 2 postcards I got. I don't think they count as being ugly. I think they are mostly cute and funny. But yeah, I want to share them because they were sent to me by Otto, and they really made me laugh. And also, if you want to send in postcards, I have a PO box address in the description below. And I'll pick everything, like ugly, funny, cute postcards. It's just really fun to receive like some news from people who watch the videos, and we usually talk, and that's always kind of great. Always makes me happy anyway. I apologize for the background noise. It's still summer, so the windows are open. And since it's not like boiling hot outside, it's actually a good idea to have the windows open. Because when it's super duper hot, it's better off with the windows closed. Okay, sorry. The postcards. There's this one. Oh, wait, hold on. I need to remove the pre-stream line thingy. There. It looks like Pico. And she would definitely have that kind of smile if she was capable of it. So I thought that one was really cute. And the other one made me laugh out loud because it's the kind of silly thing that makes me laugh. It says meow meow, it's the son of the police. Ah. Yeah, so really cute and funny. Makes me really happy. Yeah, that was a Sakura Koi box. It was not the set. In there I have the palette that Peter Schiller uses on. He has a YouTube channel, you can check it out. It's Peter, as you would write Peter, and I think Schiller, so Scheeler, but he uses these 11 colors for his paintings. So yeah, I set it up. I removed the insert because I don't like the Koi paints, and he uses this tray for his paints, so I tried to set up the palette exactly as he does. So yeah, and those are the colors in this palette. Hi, FK. And Heather, hi. And Lissy, hi guys. Rhiannon is here too. Hello. It's really funny because the police one, I was watching, we were watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine episodes like yesterday, and we've been rewatching all of them because it's still awesome. And they have like this moment in slow motion with him and Doug Judy, and I don't know what the song is, but it's the song that like I don't know, I don't remember what the sound effects is, but it's like boom boom, it's the sound of the police. So that really made me laugh when I saw the postcard, because it's like the same kind of rap lyrics that's in the song. So yeah, I think it's Peter Schiller. Thanks for the link, Otto. He has really like easy and super nice ink and wash paintings. Oh, why do you guys always want to break me? Holy moly. Okay, so yeah, as you can see from the title of this video and the fact that there's nothing going on here, I wasn't quite sure what to make the video about today, so I'm open to suggestions. If you want to see something in particular, or I don't know, it can be drawing ideas, it can be like palette demos, it can be mixing something. Like, what would you guys like to see today? Yeah, I love how in sync Heather and Tsukabu were. Yep, they're both wondering how and who's gonna break me today. Yeah, Heather always wants to break me. So basically, Tsukabu's question can be answered by Heather's line. So, yeah. Breaking the Eve is my favorite pastime. Ah. Gouache nudicles, no. Bringing back the nudicles. I still have mine. Ta-da! They're still here. Cat ninjas in space. Twinkles and Rogers. It's been a while since we saw Twinkles and Rogers. I still have ideas on my computer somewhere that I need to put into something to make it happen. Painting Wookiee well is always an option. Yeah, but did you send me references of Wookiee? Cat Rock Band, the catastrophes. But that goes for any cat. Oh, my studio assistant is asleep, and I'm petting her, and she's like wagging her tail, so she's annoyed that I'm petting her, which is 100% in character for her. Right, baby cat. You could show off the properties of Moulin du Roi. I could. I'm still not like super duper familiar with it because I've not used it a lot, but I really loved them. Loved it, what I've done. Hi, Stacy. Okay, so what's with your ugly cards theme thing? AFK is asking. It's just that I have a PO box and I collect ugly postcards. So if you happen to find an ugly postcard and you want to send it, you can. I think that's pretty fun. But you can also send like cute and pretty postcards as well. Although, I have one quick way to break Eve. Primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. Ugh. Ugh. No, they're not. They're terrible. Well, it's a nice limited palette, but it's definitely not the most versatile palette. Cat and drink a cup of coffee. Oh, I need to check that out, Jacqueline. I will leave me a note to hold on. I need an actual pencil that works. Oh yeah, I will use this super cute GGA pencil. Yeah. Okay, cool. Red, yellow, and blue are definitely the only primary colors. Another way, Opera Rose and Rose Madder are ugly colors. Yikes! Yeah, it's a Kurutoga from Kiki's delivery service. So it has Gigi and the white kitten, the white lady cat that I don't remember what's her name or even if she has one. But I really like Gigi. Oh no, please send me only poor Wookie. Send me a picture where he looks normal. Poor baby. I'm wandering off into the corner with the paper, trying to check out which paper I'm gonna use today. I was thinking I could use the hot press Moulin du Roi. See, I have a pad of the, well, it's hot press. It's they call it satin press in well, satin grain in French. So you have like fine grain and satin grain. Yeah, sure. Whatever. Oops, I'm getting all tangled up in my mic cable. Okay. Yeah, Kurutoga is a really interesting concept. I got a couple recently. They were really cute, so that's why I couldn't really resist. But I'm not sure. Well, I kind of want to see if I will enjoy using them, because I usually use a much heavier Oh, you don't like Moulin du Roi, Cyan? How come? Okay, so here is the hot press. Ooh, it's really smooth. Yeah, I'm really curious about this because hot press is a lot harder to paint on than cold press. So I wonder if I'll manage to paint anything worthwhile on it, or if it's just gonna be a great big mess. Okay, I'm just getting more supplies. It's kind of great. Okay, this is... Sorry about the noise. I'm just like rummaging through things to get to the guillotine press. Press? Trimmer? Yeah, trimmer. It's pretty cool actually. Like, I saw my dad last weekend, which is why there weren't any streams last weekend, because there was a family gathering thing going on. And he brought me like two really old, well, really, definitely old guillotine presses that he had saved from the... Long story, but anyway, my dad found those. And he didn't really have any use for them, so he saved them for me and he brought them to me last weekend. There is some steam building up behind a steampunk theme painting. Okay, I will think about that. So Cyan says about the hot press that it's been awful paper, that she needs to use oxgall on it every time to even get paint to stick to the paper, and that they feel that the paper resists water at some spots. No, it's definitely not like Canson XL. Sorry. Canson XL is cellulose, like super affordable paper. Moulin du Roi is by Canson as well, but it's 100% cotton. So yeah, let me just, hopefully it's gonna work fine. But yeah, it's a really old trimmer. So I'm like, woo, this is really cool. But yeah, I've tried it with a couple of things and it worked fine. But this is the, ta-da, super nice. So this paper is not exactly 12 inches, I'm guessing. Yeah, it's a bit longer, so I have two sizes that are not exactly the same, but that's perfect. And that's the smaller one. It's like 10 by 10 inches, but he also brought me a much larger one that's like, I don't know, but well, much bigger. But, oops, I lost my mic. Yeah, the larger one is stored over here. But I mean, I love these things. Look, it's all metal for the system, and it's been, you know, it's been working fine for like possibly as long as I've been alive. So I think that's awesome. Yeah, no safety feature, no railing here, no nothing, and it's, you know, it's all metal. It's really sturdy, and you saw it cut it like it was new, like no problem. Like I used to have I still have it, but I was using a trimmer that's just, you know, a sliding one, and it works fine, but you always have to replace the blade, and like it broke. I had to glue it together because it fell on the floor and broke, which is just so annoying about things. And like, I don't want to have to buy the same thing again and again and again and again. I mean, I'm gonna use one of these for possibly as long as I am painting, so for a long time. And I would much prefer if I could use one, hello baby, and not have to buy a new one all the time, because it's not so much, well, the money expense is a pain in the butt, but it's mostly the waste that bothers me. Like, I hate things that are basically meant to be used for a year and end up in the trash. That's stupid. Yeah, Heather, what happened to Wookie in the dealership? Oh no, the blade is fine. Might need a bit of a oiling because it's a bit creaky, but it cut through this paper like it was no big deal. So it's gonna be a good test to see how this paper takes tape. Trying to see, oh yeah, there's definitely a side to this paper, because the right side is much smoother than the Versa. Yeah. Oh yeah, guillotine cutters are awesome. When I was studying animation, we had the really weird hole puncher, and we had guillotine papers as well. Yeah, a guillotine trimmer as well. But the hole puncher was really unique in that it was made to punch out animation peg instead of regular holes. And it's been a while, but if I remember well, animation peg are different in that the paper is kind of larger, and you have a round one in the middle and like a rectangular one there and a rectangular one there. And it's meant to keep the paper more stable, so that when you pile on sheets of paper to do the animation, even if the paper gets worn a bit, it's not gonna move around as much. But it's as you can probably guess, it's a fairly niche kind of supply, and as such, really expensive. The satin press paper, the satin press repels water, just be aware. Yeah, I'm really excited to see what happens with that. Let's see if we can make it. If anything, it's gonna be funny to watch me struggle with this paper. So as always, taping off some edges. Oh, you've seen the sheets, or you've seen the hole punchers? Otto. It was quite interesting to study animation. Like, you would see a lot of people complain that their textbooks would cost like $150, or I don't know how much. And it's something that I really never had to deal with much, because I studied graphic design, and you don't really need a super expensive textbook for that. And then animation. And while graphic design was kind of a weird experience on its own, animation was not about getting an expensive textbook, but you always had to buy the special paper with the special holes in it, and always buy new pencils, because we would go through the color erase pencils quite fast. So that was interesting as well. Different experience, but you know, kind of similar. That's why when people say like a textbook can cost like $200, I'm like, what? What? That's a lot of paper and pencils and paint, you know? Oh yeah, the hole punchers I Sekaido. That's not really surprising, you know, because well, animation is kind of perhaps a more common job in Japan than it is here. So, oh no, I have to check that out. Otto's saying that Jackson's now has a new product page. I guess they heard me. I was complaining that it was kind of difficult to see what was new on Jackson's. And if you're like me and like Otto and others in the chat, where you often like window shop a lot, like I have a good mental picture of what's available at Jackson's, so when there is new stuff, it's always a bit surprising. But now if there's a new product page, that's interesting. Okay, so so there was talk about steampunk cats. I'm not much into steampunk, in the sense that I don't have a lot of images referring to it in my mental image bank. I know a bit about Victorian stuff because of Sherlock Holmes mostly, but yeah, it's not knowledge I would I would like not research before proclaiming as fact, if you know what I mean. Yeah, Victoria. I definitely spend way too much time scrolling to the Jackson's website. Yup. Question, have you tried this Stonehenge hot press paper? Is that the... my mind is sort of blanking on me. Hold on. Is it the aqua? The aqua paper? Holmes as a cat. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, I think I will do that. That's cute. Well, this is what I have in terms of Stonehenge aqua hot press. this tester pad. I have this cold press. I have a nice pad that Grace sent me, but I haven't tried the hot press yet. It takes a lot of drawing, you know, to end up testing all these papers, and I really don't paint enough. It's also my dream to go to Sekaido in Shinjuku. Hopefully with Otto, because that would be like... I think we could spend the whole day there, like have a picnic at Sekaido and just like look at everything in there. Absolutely everything. Okay, so Holmes kitty. I feel like if Holmes was a cat, it'd be like a Siamese cat. Or, you know, one of those really sleek cat, like not a Maine Coon. That doesn't really match with the image I have of Holmes in my head. Yes, please take me to Sekaido. I hope they have like a, you know, sometimes when you go to Barnes and Nobles or like bookstore, they have a cafe in there, like a Starbucks cafe. So Sekaido needs like a corner that's like sandwiches and coffee, or like maybe onigiri and tea, just for the people who like go there on a pilgrimage. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out this drawing. That's why I'm like noodling around and moving my arms. This is kind of from memory because I don't think I have my phone nearby. So I am sort of winging it. More often than not, the things I end up doodling in Livestream are great. Like preliminary work to eventually turn it into something, perhaps like an actual finished piece. Like I can test the design, the scale, the proportions, and a bunch of things on here, and then I can like decide if I want to make this an actual thing and fix it. Oh, they really need to put up a cafe in Sekaido. But then again, it's hard supply, so maybe you don't want people to eat food and then touch papers and... So who else is a Sherlock Holmes fan in here? No, I mean the Sekaido shop. The big 5 stories art supply shop probably doesn't have a cafe in there because it's not the best combo. Well, they have them in Barnes and Nobles and books. I mean, I know I wouldn't buy a book with like croissant finger marks on it. I really like Sherlock Holmes. I'm not a fan of the BBC show. It's a bit too out of character for me, for my tastes. It's been forever since I've drawn anything Sherlock Holmes. I don't remember what the suits are supposed to look like. But I really enjoy the CBC show with what's John Neely Miller? No, what's his name? Anyway, is great, and Lucy Liu is awesome. What kind of cat would Watson be? I feel like he would be like just a regular like a common cat, like a mutt, maybe a tabby. Like have a small bowler hat. Yay! Johnny Lee Miller, thank you so much, Lissy. I'm glad I remembered right, because I hate when I hate when I love like something and I can't remember the name of the things in it. It's like, well, you're supposed to love this thing. Like, it's the same way that I love cats a lot and I still struggle a lot to draw them, and I'm like, this is stupid. You shouldn't struggle so much drawing cats. You have 2 at home, you always look at them. A small orange marmalade. Oh, I agree. I love Marm, though I'm not gonna make him counter Cressida, you know. Marm. I love Marm, but more often than not, he's a bit like this, you know. And you're like, what are you even looking at, kitty? It's like ooh, good cakes. You had me at good cakes, Otto. I keep wondering, like, if I went to Japan, and not pushing my luck too much, but I wonder if the dairy in other countries, like say Japan or something else, would be fine, like wouldn't cause me as much problem as the dairy here. I really wonder about that ever since I went to Switzerland, and yeah, I went there with a couple of years ago, and I still already had the dairy issues then, so that wasn't new. But we ended up getting, like, for some weird reason where I was in Switzerland, we couldn't find any kind of hummus. Like, the one hummus we found was with fresh cheese in it, and we didn't notice at first. So we bought that and we ate, like, I ate a couple of lunches worth of it and didn't feel anything weird. So it's only after that that we realized that there was dairy in it, and I was like, oh, that's odd. I didn't have any like pain issues or didn't cause any problems, so I thought it was kind of weird. But I wonder if it's just that I'm sensitive to like the dairy, the North American dairy protein, and like other countries, they have like perhaps a bit different profile for their dairy protein, and I could eat some and be fine. Oh, okay. Otto's saying that weirdly James has a reaction to UK dairy but not to Japanese dairy. That makes me so hopeful that I can go to Japan and like really have fun in the cafes and not always be mangling, well, repeating the same mangled Japanese phrase of I can't eat dairy, what do you have that's dairy free? Granada, Holmes, Watson, it would be a big marmalade. Yeah, the Granada series has a great Holmes, but kind of the cliche Watson, which is a bit of a shame. I'm just catching up on chat, sorry guys. Otto says, I am super tempted by the Ecoline liquid watercolor. Have you used them? I have a few. Have I used them? Not really. But you gotta see, this is even the older model of bottle, I guess. Doesn't have an eyedropper or anything. I have 4 of them. I have a bunch of Ecoline, not Ecoline, but Colorex inks as well. See, the thing is, I think that if I was doing perhaps more abstract painting, I would possibly use these more. But the thing is that until recently, I've always approached art with illustration in mind, and I don't really know how to use these. Like, I don't know if it's the colors I have that sort of confuse me, or I don't know. I think I got these with the idea that I could use them to ink drawings, but I've never really done that. And it's not waterproof ink, but I think it's marker proof. So yeah. There is that's interesting, Otto. I really hope that I have the same kind of issue. But yeah, same thing, like I think I react to beets, like red beets and dairy in a very similar way. But yeah, I really hope so, because I would love to be able to, you know, visit other countries. Like perhaps even if I went to Scotland, I could eat the dairy there and be fine, because it's not the one from here. There are lactose-free dairy in Canada, quite a lot of it, because we have a big dairy lobby, so they really try everything they can to have people consume more dairy, which I think should be a crime. Okay, but yeah, there's a lot of lactose free, but I don't have issues with lactose as much as with dairy protein, so it really doesn't help me. I've tried it. I've tried all the dairy stuff, and I've tried like they told me, oh, try goat yogurt. It's different, and it still made me feel not super great. So yes, Holmes is going to be a Siamese kitty. I didn't do any research, so that's really spur of the moment. But perhaps if I did a bit of research, I could find a better suited, like, fancy kitty. Like, I don't know if a Abyssinian kitty or something else, but just out of my head. Oh yeah, ugh, I don't think I watched that. Or if I did, I think my brain blocked it, Stacy. Stacy says, I kind of rage quit BBC when they wrote John getting violent with Sherlock. Nope, not my Watson, not mine either. But the BBC show is like a train wreck. Seriously. The first episode I was like, huh, okay, this could be interesting. The second episode was grossly insulting on many levels, and then it just sort of just didn't get any better. And then their Irene Adler is just, ugh, oh good grief, no, it's not for me. Yeah, I think the Ecoline at Jackson's have droppers, so I think they're perhaps a more recent model. These are quite old. There's nothing really that puts me off of them. It's just that I don't I don't really know when to use them. It hasn't come to a moment where I thought, hey, I'm gonna use these. And perhaps it's the colors I got. Like it's kind of weird with inks because unlike watercolor, I always feel like watercolor, it's easier to mix it because I feel like it's definitely meant to be mixed, while mixing inks feels less convenient. See, it doesn't have any dropper, it doesn't have any like palette for mixing. You have to bring one yourself, and they come in many colors. I have green, pastel blue, I have odd colors. I have brown, and I think this is blue, like dark blue. Prussian blue, yeah. Hey, hi! Tracy, right? Born again farm girl, Tracy? Beets are disgusting anyway. Oh, you don't like beets? Wow. High five. I haven't met many people that didn't like beets. They taste like a mouthful of dirt. I love Irene Adler in the books. I don't like Irene Adler. I don't like the BBC show, period. It just hurts my brain. I think I've only watched season 1, 2, and 3 perhaps. But the more I watched it, the more I was like, it was torture to watch it. Ugh. I much prefer elementary. I love elementary. I always there hasn't been anything in elementary so far that has really like made me feel angry or like disconnected me from the whole premise. It's been really great. I haven't seen the short film Painted Land. Sorry. About a group of 7. I don't even know what that's about, sorry. Yeah, the Adler Moriarty mashup from CBS is awesome. I mean, the actors in the CBS show, they do a really fine job. And Lucille Yu as Watson, I love it so much. You guys are funny. Dan says that he liked the shock reveal with BBC season 4. That was good, but the rest, poop emoji, poop emoji. DC says, I love BBC Mycroft Holmes and the Mycroft from the Robert Downey Jr. movies. I didn't like the Robert Downey movies. So, Otto, you don't like Purple Cabbage either? But I'm trying to think what else is super dark red or purple. Cabbage, beets. They have yellow beets though. Still tastes like soil, but yeah. No, Stephen, I don't think that's the thing here. If you eat a lot of junk, you won't like beets. Too natural tasting. Nope. Otto doesn't eat any junk. I don't eat a lot of junk either, and I've never been able to like the taste of beet, and they always make me sick. So, I mean, I'm not gonna fight it. I don't think it's meant to be. Aw, poor Cyan. How do you keep track? How do you keep track of everything you're allergic to? Like, there's no connecting. Like, it's kind of like things that you're like, I don't see the link between all these things. Oh, sodium nitrate is so bad for you. It's a great. It's kind of a positive thing to be sensitive or allergic to it because it means you don't eat it, and it's really bad for the. I think it's one of those salts that really hurts the gut on the long term. Yeah. Oh, awesome, Paulo. Have some cake for us, pretty please. Cake is awesome. When you go into the club and hit the beats. What? Yeah, I wonder if beats are this thing, like, you know, like we've talked about this before, but like this gene theory that some people perceive certain tastes in certain foods and other people don't, with the most common culprits being tomatoes and bell peppers. Like, some people will say that bell peppers are bitter or they taste gross, and some people will say like they're super sweet. Hibiscus is another one of those things. Some people will drink hibiscus tea and be like, oh, that's awesome, and I'm like, no, it's the most bitter thing in the whole world, and they don't taste it. This is not exactly turning out like I wanted to. Well, I'm sure gonna test how this paper stands to multiple erasing. Yeah, that's true. Cilantro or coriander is another one of those really polarizing tastes that people are either like it tastes like soap, I think is the common. Kind of like the idea of having the ears in angry mode. Because after all, they're probably like staking up some bad guys or something. Oh, thanks for the pictures, Heather. I'm excited to put some paints on this, but at the same time I don't want to. I want to make this a worthy practice. I want to spend like enough time on the sketch to be at least basically happy with it, like a base level happiness. You should try Indonesian food, Eve. It is very natural cooking wise. Well, it's not the only natural food. I think Japanese food is really natural as well. And I'm really fond of it. Because it has a lot of fish, it has a lot of veggies, rice. Portions are nice, not too many oil. Not too much oil, sorry. Local Canadian food is not really in the same mindset at all. Like it was mostly farmers, so we are very big on stews and pies and you know that kind of stuff. That's not great year long, I would say. I know my dad is my mom is from her family is from France. My dad family is from Quebec, so local, really local people. And they would, I think my dad often would have something like mashed potatoes and eggs as a lunch. Yeah, tomatoes I can't either. Raw or chunky tomatoes I cannot eat. But I really like sauce and ketchup, so I don't know what's up with that. Sorry about the noise. I wonder if that's... Anyway, it's soon gonna be over. Sorry that you're all hungry now. Maybe we should have asked Paulo to bring back some cake for us. We can all eat virtual cake, right? That's safe for everyone. haven't drawn Victorian fashion in so long. I'm really sorry if this looks like butt, and I am not realizing it. It's Kitty, Sherlock Holmes, and Watson. Yeah, virtual cakes are really awesome and safe. Okay, so I will move on to inking this. Oh wait, I need to detail a bit of this backdrop. And something needs to be happening there to explain the whole setup. Did you know 3% of the world's cheese gets stolen? I think they've just done the big cheese race last week. That is always so funny to watch. That's the thing with the big wheels of cheese, and like there's a thing, I think they toss down the hill a wheel of cheese and people go tumbling after it. Like another one of those silly like local tradition kind of things somewhere. It's always hilarious. Like if I had done a bit of research, I could have found out like what's on a sidewalk and how to draw it. Like I'm thinking of fire hydrant, but I don't have in mind what's a fire hydrant like, or even if it's period appropriate. I'm gonna make a silhouette in a doorway. That's gonna be or like have a carriage or a car or something, but I am not prepared. I think if Sherlock was a cat, I don't know exactly about the coat. Not well. Torty would have to be a lady Sherlock Holmes, or one of the really rare hermaphrodite Torties. But definitely a cat that's, you know, really sleek and that has a really shiny coat. Down Cheddar Gorge. Cheese rolling is done in I'm not gonna try pronouncing that. Something like probably like Gloucestershire, UK, like one of those things where you try to read it out like it's written and that's not the way you say it. But it's hilarious. Like people, there's no way people don't get hurt doing that. This is really smooth paper for inking, I gotta say. Like the pen really glides on it. There's no issues whatsoever with the texture of the paper. I can get super fine lines really easily. Almost too easy. So Gloucestershire. Oh, okay, not bad. This chat is all too cheesy. Also cheesy, I agree. The winner this year dislocated her shoulder. I think if there was like the Darwin Awards games, there would definitely be a spot for this one in it. Because it's so silly. We have a, I don't know if it counts as something equally silly, but around here in the winter, usually around, we have okay, in Quebec, I don't know if it's part of other festivities, but in Quebec, I'm from Quebec, we have the carnival, the winter carnival. I don't remember what's it called, but it's basically a winter carnival. And there would, every year there would be like this event that's like, basically people take a snow bath. You get in your bathing suit and you get basically, well, almost naked into the banks of snow and you freeze your ass off. There is usually some alcohol involved, either in the preparation or the recuperation of the event, but yeah. A torty bunny, that's so cute. I took pictures yesterday because Scout was sitting in the sun and it was kind of easier to see, but I think she's a Torby in disguise. Like, she has stripes, but she's so dark that her darkness covers the stripes in her coat. But when she's in the sun and it really highlights her fur, we can see some of the stripes throughout. Is any cheese worth dislocating a shoulder for? Well, if you ask me, no. But I'm pretty sure some people would be ready to fight me on that. Gotta be careful because the way this paper doesn't soak up the ink means that it probably won't dry as fast as I am used to on the other paper I use. You know how Sherlock Holmes is a character that is relatively good at, you know, not necessarily showing his emotions. So I wonder if, as a cat, he would be betrayed by his cat nature, like the hairs backward and hissing, or if he would just always appear so calm and collected as a cat, you know, like you never see him hiss, you never see him react to anything unless it's really extreme. Quebec is the French part of Canada, yes. And you spelled it right. Science says that the ice bath, the snow bath, sounds like a very finished thing. Snow, naked, and alcohol. Well, people are usually not naked, they're usually in their bathing suits. But that's not a great protection against the cold of snow. I've never done it because I was a kid when the family used to do it, and it never really, you know, I'm like, if I want to play in the snow, I'm gonna gear up. Sorry about that. Like as a kid, you don't drink a shot of alcohol before jumping into a bank of snow, so you don't have this kind of warm inner feeling, so you just feel the cold. You just freeze your ass off. I'm not familiar with Dragon Ball Z, sorry. No, they took away the Sherlock Holmes statue. Oh, I hope they put it back. Aww. We have a lot of like politician statues in Quebec City. And when I was a teenager, okay, so basically we all know that teenagers are dumb, right? And I was a teenager, so I was dumb too. And at some point, I can't remember why, but we would usually end up being a bunch of friends going into the old Quebec City just to, you know, walk around and spend time with friends. And often we would end up bringing a turnip with us. It became like this joke of bringing a turnip. So they would play like turnip football on the fields, because old Quebec has the Abraham. Scout doesn't like my stories, but the old Quebec has the Abraham fields, so there's always, you know, a bit of space or anything. But still, we would be there with our turnips. And Quebec, the old city, also has many politician statues. So when the turnip would have run its life of turnip, we would often leave it in the hands of a statue that had like a hand outstretched, and you would always find things in his hands. Like more often than not, people would put a cigarette between the fingers or something in the hand, and yeah, that a couple of times it was a turnip. So yeah. How many people attend this Freeze Your Ass Off festival? No idea. It was quite popular, but there would also be a lot of versions like you could do in your backyard with your own family. It was a Christmas thing often. So since we used to always be full of, like, not lacking on snow anywhere in Quebec, it's a bit different now, but yeah. So like people would just, it could be a family thing, like wherever the family was regrouping to celebrate Christmas, there would be a moment where everyone would wear their bathing suit and go take a jump in the snow. I think a tram track is going where it used to be, so probably not putting it back there. No! Oh. Who wants to take photo with a tram? No one. I agree. I mean, I love trams if they've always been there, because they usually have this like an historical cachet or something, like there's a story with it. But if they put up a new tram system, that's just like, it's not gonna be pretty, it's not gonna have any kind of old school charm to it. There's been talk of putting trams around here too. Does Edinburgh, does it have a subway system? Ah, there's a breeze. This is nice. So I think that's mostly sort of sketchily inked up. We'll just leave it there for a second and have a sip of tea. I think Canada is a lot like Finland, especially if you go perhaps more up north. So it doesn't have the subway, it just has one tram line, like one, which we don't even need because we have a really fantastic bus system. Glasgow does have a subway system. They have one line that goes in a circle. That's kind of clever. That's actually kind of clever, right? Does it go, it goes both ways, right, in a circle? Sorry if you could hear me drinking the tea. So that's drying. Still have this one. I think I'm gonna just make it something really like basic on this one. Perhaps a kind of landscape, so we can see how washes work on this paper. Wait, you mean Canada has badasses that throw wood at tanks? What? Yeah, both way. I asked because you never know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if I learned that somewhere they decided that since the, you know, this is actually a circle, but like since it's a circle, we don't need to have both ways because you can just like do the loop, and like that's absolutely frustrating and not for the customer. But I haven't seen a lot of things that were made with the customer in mind, So I never take it for granted, you know. I was drinking some Earl Grey with the soy cream in it. It's finally like a temperature that I can have tea. It was cold, I'm sorry Dan, but I don't really mind cold tea, like it doesn't really bother me. So I'm gonna make this like really basic, so it's gonna be like the sea, some kind of rock formations here, another one here with the smaller one back, and maybe like a hint of the beach or something, so that we can just focus on the washes. And I'm gonna make a lighthouse because I can. Hard to make anything more basic than that, truly. Maybe I should put in a couple of clouds. What do you guys think? Should I make this like really a wash with no clouds in it, or have some clouds in the sky? Oh no, Fiona, that's not great. 30 degrees and 90% humidity. Ugh. Yikes. So clouds, no clouds. That's not the straightest line I've ever done, but that's okay. I had a teacher in when I was studying graphic design that said something really interesting. He was teaching visual arts, and he basically said that a repeated mistake becomes a style, and it's quite easy to remember, so it kind of stuck with me. But that's why when I do something and like there's a mistake, I see if I can just implement that mistake all over it and make it not a mistake. So that's always a thing. No clouds, no clouds, clouds, yikes. So no clouds. Oh, I'm basing it on nothing. It's just like random stuff. So 2 for clouds, 3 for no clouds. Well, I don't know about painting on it, but the hot press paper is really nice for using the carbon pen on it. It's really smooth. Alright, so no clouds. We're just gonna focus on the wash on this one. Okay, so next question, which paints? Yeah. Seems to be fairly dry. Yikes. If the camera shakes, that's because I'm erasing. Sorry about that. Oh, 17 degrees is quite nice. Even if it's humid. Like, I don't mind the humidity if it's colder. I think that hot and humid is the worst combo. So anything that is not that is a win. Oh, hi Mark! How are you? Welcome back, Paolo. A Paris peach is a cake? I'm not gonna try to say that, but any kind of cake is already good. Like, I don't like all the cakes, but the idea of cakes always makes me happy. I don't think I have enough room on my desk for the M. Graham palette right now, because it's big. I'm gonna grab a smaller one. Here, I'm gonna grab this one. Ah, cake, I miss it. It's so hard to find vegan cake. And I struggle with cooking it myself, because if I cook it myself means I have to eat it. And that can be kind of hard on the diet. Oh, thank you, Mark. I'm glad you liked the illustration. Okay, so let's get this started. Nope. I have Ultimos in regular like handle and travel handle, and I always find the travel handles first when I'm actually looking for the regular ones. I think I'm also gonna look for a mop. I've been feeling moppy. Oh, this one is such a pretty mop. It's like, do I want to use it? It's so pretty. Happiness is a piece of cake, or two. The cake is a lie. I like chocolate cake. Not gonna lie. I think like the mix of the vanilla flavored cake and chocolate icing is my favorite. The most expensive cake I ever bought, wedding cake. Yep, I am not surprised, Mark. That's not really surprising. I'm basically just gonna reuse whatever is on my palette, because I don't like wasting, and besides, it's not like this palette has a lot of space left for mixing. I'm not sure I'm on camera. I'll try to set this up better. I keep losing track of my stuff. Like, where's my brush rest? Don't need these two anymore. Yay! $800 for a wedding cake. Yikes! And that's on top of everything else too. Like the dress, the food, the reception. Hot press is always so weird in that it gets really strong texture when it's wet, but that usually goes away as the paint dries. Like you feel like you're pulling the paper. It looks like peeling, sorry, on the paper, but it's actually just the texture of the hot press when it's wet, and when it dries it usually goes away. This is a real scroll mop and it's so yep, that's the best way to describe a scroll mop in my opinion. It's just like, there you go, that's a mop. You can even use it like this, like it doesn't really want to go back to its brush shape unless you sort of help it. Sorry, I thought that was really funny. Wedding tax? Is that a thing? We can't let you get too happy, we gotta tax you. Wedding tax. Limp brush could be an hip hop act. Ah. Oh, cooking stuff is your job, Dan. That's so cool. These mops are so hard to use, and this one is shedding a bit. It's not a super expensive mop, mind you. It's one of those Jackson's brand squirrel mops. Oh no, cyan. Oh, Oh, that's a bummer. Oh wow, Mark. Yeah, you're kind of lucky that you got in on the business in the 90s, back when it was still booming. Like, if you think about it, like, I don't have interests in all the fields in the world, but I can say for sure that comics in the 90s were really hot stuff. And if you had people like Rob Liefeld, who is a nice person but is not the most skilled artist out there, who could make like a fortune on his stuff, it really means the market was good then. And it sort of went kaput on us after. Well, are you making ice cream cakes, then? Yeah, working in the kitchen when it's hot is not super fun. Yeah, good point. Otto's saying that it's an unspoken thing. Like, everything is so much more expensive if you put the word wedding in front of it. Dress, wedding dress, ring, wedding ring. But there are so many ways around it. Oh, okay. I understand. It's like the wedding tax is like you pay more just because it's wedding stuff. Wedding toilet paper is when it starts getting. Is that a thing? I would laugh so much if that was a thing. The wedding is mainly for the parents and guests. Yeah, I guess so. Are they the ones paying for it though? Why are you talking about divorce, Avery? I don't think Mark mentioned divorce. Oh, okay. I guess I missed that, but yeah. I think well, I don't really like this comic anymore because he's really shady and shifty and not great. But Louis C.K. once said about his divorce that when he said to people that he's divorced, people would go "aw" and be like all sad about it, but he would say to them like, "There's no happy marriage ends in divorce. Like you never go like, oh, everything is wonderful, I'm so happy, let's divorce." So um, as much as I might not like the guy much, I still think that it's very true that if something has to be a divorce, well, it's because it's no longer working. So why fight it? Yeah, sorry, I just missed the fact that Mark. So it was really weird from my point of view since I missed that message that like Mark was saying like, "Oh, it was great. I had the super expensive wedding and kids and a house," and then Avery's just like, "Congratulations on your divorce," and I was like, "Well, if Mark is not divorced yet, that's kind of a really weird thing to say." Okay, um, I was kind of waiting for this to dry down a bit. I switch brush to something that is, in comparison, so much firmer. Like this one, it doesn't, I press it down and it doesn't stay smooshed like the other one was. The other one was like really smooshed. Using granulating colors on super smooth hot press paper is super weird because you kind of, it's like the granulation doesn't know where to go, so it just like happens anyway, but in kind of a really I want to say unorganized way. Not sure if that's the right word for it, but it's kind of what it feels like. Oh. Is it because I'm taking too many breaks that you want to jump in and start painting with me? This scene kind of requires a lot of neutral colors because bricks, sidewalk, street, and gentlemen would usually wear black outfits, so I'm gonna have to mix it. With this palette, I like to mix my black from Indent Throne and Burnt Sienna. Thanks to Otto, I finally have a Burnt Sienna that I like using, because she hooked me up with a pan of Daniel Smith Burnt Sienna, the regular one, not the Italian Burnt Sienna, because the Italian Burnt Sienna is lovely, but it's really hard to re-wet. It dries like a rock, but the regular one is, you know, quite nice. That's kind of washed out for black, but it's gonna do the trick. Oh, hi, Grace! How are you doing today, Grace? I hope you recovered well from the Turner sniffing you did yesterday. You took a hit for the group by sniffing up the Turner paints. Oh, I like the Burnt Sienna you sent me, Otto. Like the regular Daniel Smith one works so well. Like, I was surprised because I was all disgruntled about it because my only experience was with the Italian one, and I was like, ugh, another one of those colors that like you have to let it soften for 24 hours before you can use it in any level that's satisfying. And it makes me grumpy, obviously. But yeah, then you sent me like the regular one, and I started out with like no specific expectations of it, but in the end I really like it. And I bought a tube because I am terrified of the moment I will run out and be like, yikes, what am I gonna use? What am I gonna use if I run out? It's really weird painting on hot press because the puddles of water, they really don't know where to go. They just sit there and are like, can you remove a bit of this water? It's kind of like going nowhere, and it's gonna dry all ugly. Avery says, I have old gouache on my palette, but I have nothing to draw, and I feel bad about washing it down the drain. Do you ever have that problem? I don't really have that problem in the sense that if I want to use up the gouache, I will think of something to paint with, even if it's just a study of whatever's on my desk, you know. But yeah, I try not to wash down color unless I need to reuse a specific palette and have no use for the colors on it. Like a mixing palette, usually a palette like this, If I were to change the colors and had no use for what's in the trays, I would wash it up, but otherwise I'm just gonna leave it as such. From the what sniffing? The Turner paints. The watercolors, they have a weird smell. Oh yeah, I've been mixing the anthraquinone and the burnt sienna a lot, and I really like it. I have a ultramarine that I like in this palette, but when I want to get a dark gray, I usually use the anthraquinone first because it tends to work much faster. Basically, this painting is brought to you by anthraquinone and burnt sienna, because it really feels like it's the only colors I've used so far. Trying to remember what's the coloring on this Siamese cat. Pretty sure the paws are dark. Is the whole face dark as well, and the ears? What paints are these in this palette? You mean, Dan? Okay, I will check out what's the Siamese cat like really quick. Okay, I see. I think adjusting the camera a bit so it's less bright. Let me know if that's better. Ugh, Mark, that sounds awful. Oh, bye, Every. Thank you so much for being there. This set is mostly almost all Daniel Smith. I got two Senneliers in here. I got this one here because I didn't have that color in anything but this weird odd pan from Sennelier. And the ultramarine blue is ultramarine blue deep from Sennelier because I kind of like not waiting a decade before my paint is wet and ready to use. Can you hear the cicadas? Oh, fish sauce gone bad. Blech. I smell like probably my hair product that's coconut and deodorant that's lavender. I'm sure you wanted to know. I can't wait for the time to be cool enough so I can use like moisturizing creams again. I miss you, cold weather. Come back, come back. I haven't gotten any better at painting within the lines, so if you ever feel bad about that, you can always come to me. Just loving the thought of everyone smelling themselves now. Me too. No, that sounds so wrong, Mark. It sounds really wrong. I keep going into the dirty water to sort of mix a fresh color, and that's really stupid. Yeah, eau is French for water, but it's also how they often call perfumes. Like maybe in their range, something like Coco Chanel would have eau de coco, and it would be like a kind of variant, slightly different smell in the Coco Chanel perfume family. I will let this dry a bit. Let's hop on to this one. I need to find the fat eraser again. What's your favorite smell, guys? Like, it can be something you enjoy in food, or it could be like a smell like perfume. I'm split between cinnamon and vanilla. Like, not the cloying vanilla smell, but the kind of vanilla smell, sorry, you get from when you make like waffles or cooking. I have the hiccups, sorry. I think this box needs more mixing space. It's It's kind of limited considering it has 18 colors in there. So I'm grabbing them up again and pre-wetting the sky. I wonder if that will help at all. Oops. I grabbed a bit of green that was on the palette. It's okay. No biggie. Dear brush, stop shedding. That's not insanely impressive as far as washes go. Feels like, so far it really feels like this hot press paper would be really well suited to transparent colors that have zero granulation. So maybe that's what I'm gonna try next. Like dig out my transparent palette from where I've put it and try it on other paintings. Because I feel like the like I was saying, like the granulating particles of the pigment, they don't really know what to do with the hot press paper, so they just kind of chill there and they don't really create anything like as striking as you would get from a more cold press paper. I'm feeling like a painting see like you get in on the East Coast, like in Maine, because I kind of miss it, but it's not like nice turquoise sea, it's more like blue-gray and perhaps a bit greenish. Cats smell awesome. Like indoor cats, they never get really dirty and they spend so much time grooming themselves that they always smell awesome. Bye Grace, thank you so much for stopping by. Like yeah, I agree with Otto. The smell of a cat that's been sunning in the sun. You mean baking in the sun, right? I agree that that smells really nice. Aw, Mark, that's cute. I cannot say for the first one. I think it has to be like a personal thing. I'm not quite sure, like if I went and smelled any kid, even if it's a kid in the family, you know, I would have the same kind of emotional engagement to it. But I agree that the ocean at night is quite sublime, and the sound is also quite sublime. I miss it. I really do. That's a really good dark mix. It's still a bit too blue, so I'm gonna add a bit of burnt sienna in it, but yeah, that's fun color to mix. It's not weak at all. Oh, thank you so much, Fiona. Which one? The other one or this one? I don't have any experience with outdoor cats, but the only thing I've noticed is that sometimes when you touch them, they feel more dusty. But it could be because they like to take dust baths and roll around in the sand and the dust. So like it doesn't really feel dirty, but I've never really had cats that went outside. So I cannot say I've put my face in an outdoor cat. The only experience I have with outdoor cats, they're half good, half bad. What is that about? Oh no, Heather, you said a thing. Oh no. You know, one of those things with lots of innuendo in it that can be really misconstrued. Yeah, they feel like dusty, but it doesn't feel dirty. And the thing is like I am not a dog person, so I apologize in advance, but the thing is with dogs is that you can pick up on the dog smell right away. Oh, bye Mark, thank you so much for stopping by. I'm happy you like it. Thank you so much. But yeah, like even if a cat comes from the outside, more often than not, you will not have like the smell come up to your nose just from being near the cat. Not 100% through rule, because some stories about cats that are rescued from the outside, they were ill or stinky. But yeah, like a cat that has a home and that goes outside, I think I would be really surprised if they smelled bad. Oh, that's so cute, Tsukawa. Tsuka was saying that they're Bootsy being a cat, But Bootsy's daughter was a great tabby, and she rolled in the dirt so much in the summer she turned brown. Fun fact, Samoyeds don't have typical dog odor. What do they smell like? Oh, and Fiona, yeah, my cats are really, really soft too. Like, I've had 4 cats in my life. 4. And they really are the softest cats I've ever seen. Oh, speaking of blue eyes, how's Crystal, Heather? You want to fight me on the fact that Scott is a really soft 30? I'm completely ready to share the spot with Chili. But yeah, that's some really soft cats. Peko and Scout, they're really, really soft. So Heather says about the Samoyeds that they don't have any appreciable odor, if she recalls correctly. And apparently bear cats smell like popcorn. That's kind of cool. Oh, hi Lindy and Lana. Hi. How are you today? I think when you sterilize animals, they don't ever get smelly. Well, what about dogs? I mean, dogs, they have the infamous dog smell. And it's really there. I mean, whether they are sterilized or snipped or not, they still smell like dog. Ah, popcorn. Popcorn. I kind of miss all the, the fancy popcorn, like the in North America, it's Colonel's the brand, I think. But it's usually full of questionable ingredients. Paulo. You need an empty palette for handmade paints. That's cool. Who's sending you handmade paints? I'm not painting Mafia cats, I'm painting Holmes and Watson as cats, or at least trying to. I mostly wanted to try this Moulin du Roi hot press paper. And I was really stumped for ideas, so the chat came up with this idea. Most of the dog smell comes from their diet. Feed them enough real food and they don't have that sour smell. What constitutes real food for a dog? Oh yay, update on Crystal! Staples were removed but her sutures were left in because the amount of skin lost has left the abdomen pulled a little tight. Poor baby. Oh, that's really nice, Paulo. They are very generous, gotta say. The thing is that with dogs, even if they are clean and well, cared for, they might still smell like dog. And I know that I really struggle with that smell. It bothers me because, like, I know people with dogs, and I would really much prefer to be more comfortable with the smell. But it really bothers me. Like, I cannot not smell it. See, that's kind of a weird way to dry for granulation. I guess it's because of the way the paper was sort of warped. Like it all concentrated the granulation effect in this area, which is a bit, I don't know if that will show, but it's a bit like it's bowing that way. Like there's a pool here. Didn't have that kind of problem with this C, but you really gotta be careful for blooms, more than you would have to be on cold press. Sorry. Real meat, veggies, fruit, berries. Well, very little grain. Grain is really what makes them think. Oh, that's interesting. Huh, that's really interesting. I didn't know that. Good to know. No, really? That's all you have to say? Oh no, my assistant just covered her face with her paws. She's like, stop talking to me, I'm sleeping. Overall, I'm kind of surprised by how weaker the color seems to come off on the hot press. Like, I don't feel like I'm mixing anything differently than what I usually do, but usually I don't have colors that are this kind of washed out, so it's something I will have to perhaps look into more. Ah, Zakaboo! So much pressure. I still need to mold many of them. I'm working on it. I've been working on it, but the heat kind of wave sort of puts a real damper into any molding activity because it's really unpleasant to do and it doesn't dry well. But I've been slowly going through your list. can't wait for the weather to be like just normal. It doesn't have to be cool, but I would really enjoy if it wasn't like 1 billion degrees, so that I could do things that, you know, like normal things, like mole and do a bit of stretching, and like even yoga is too much. And I'm talking about the hard poses that require like a lot of muscle control. I'm talking about this super basic stuff. It still gets me like super warm, and I don't function well when I'm warm. And by that I mean I don't function at all. Usually in the winter we keep the place at like 17 degrees, and if I'm cold I just wear like a sweater. But that way, like if something requires more of a strenuous exercise, I can like be comfortable and functional. Hi Linux Switch. Cyan, were you trying to paint a frog? I kind of want to do another pass on the sky because this is not working for me. Let's try again. And I'm also gonna tip the painting this way so that gravity helps with the effect. Is there anything left to do on this? Oh no, are you for real, Fiona? Fiona's saying that redheads feel the heat more. No, no, I disapprove. And no, do not want. Please, no. Oh, no, 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 no. Like, being a redhead comes with so many weird things. Like, oh, you know, regular anesthesia for operation can kill you, but like a lot more easily than it can anybody else, because apparently redheads have a gene that will react to the anesthesia and will cause organ failures. At least, Heather, the cat attacks you get are playful attacks, not dangerous attacks. Oh no, oh, bummer. I need to move where the weather is like icy cold all the time. Darn it. Ah, why? 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 I mean, I feel the cold, but it doesn't bother me. The heat, though, like, the heat really bothers me. I get really stupid when it gets too hot. Like, it's kind of funny because I do, like, so many stupid mistakes. I'm trying to remember what was the last one I did. Oh yeah, I was opening bubble wrap that had acrylic tubes in it, and I just snipped through it with a scissor, you know, like just, hey, let's open this bubble wrap, and I cut right through one of the tubes. And this is not the kind of thing I do usually. Usually I'm quite, you know, aware of the consequences that my actions will have, so this is not the kind of things that I would do, but when it gets hot, I pile them on, the mistakes. It's ridiculous, like all this stupidest stuff. Like one time I was trying to record a video for a video. I was trying to record footage, and I just kept making like the most stupid mistakes, like not like counting the pans and then not doing the proper number of swatches on my sheet, or like, you know, really basic stuff that you're like, I never have issues with this. Like I'm not that distracted in real life, but when it gets warm, I get really stupid. I want to go to Edinburgh. I would love it. The brain works slower when it gets too hot. Well, that does explain it though. But yeah, like I snipped through the the acrylics bag, and then I just looked at it, and it was like, huh, darn it. And it was like opera pink, so it started oozing opera pink, and I was like, welp, darn it. I was able to salvage it, like I taped it and clipped it off, so it will hopefully be fine. And if not, I mean, it was cheap acrylic. I don't buy the super fancy acrylic stuff, but still, it was kind of a weird moment for my brain to be like, cannot believe you just did that. And I was like, I cannot believe it either. What's going on? But I'm glad through the chat I'm learning a bunch of stuff like that. That as a redhead, I cannot stand the heat as well, and that the heat makes you stupid. Aw, hi Ruka. Oh yeah, Katrina. I'm really lucky that in Canada these awful events, they don't often get super bad here. Like we had the what's the word I'm looking for? It was in the 90s. It was Guillaume. Hold on. Guillaume, sais-tu c'est quoi verglas en anglais? C'est hail? Sleet? Sleet? Ouais. It's not a word I use often, so I had to inquire. But we had the big ice storm with the sleet in the 90s, and that was really bad. Like people were cut off from electricity for a really long time. But usually we're not that I mean, we don't get like fires, or we don't get like tsunamis or tornadoes, that kind of stuff. But the heat wave was bad though. Like a great number of people died. Really? My cat is making sounds. I still have the assistant, by the way. Scout is still with me. yeah, we have storms here too, like snowstorms. And the last year, at the end of the summer, there was a rainstorm that was really, really, really bad. I had never seen that before. I was with my dad at the moment in the car driving, and we had to, I'm not exaggerating, but we had to slow down to 3 kilometers per hour, and everybody had to put on their hazard lights, and we couldn't see nothing. It was a curtain of opaque water, and it was just like insane. It didn't last very long, but I mean, I had never seen that kind of rainfall over here ever, and it was really striking, and I don't think there's been one that bad ever since so far. But yeah, usually we get snowstorms a lot, like it will fall, a lot of snow will fall, but that's kind of what we're known for. Yeah. But yeah, we had a sleet storm, like, you know, when it's kind of this halfway point between snowing and raining, where the rain that falls, like, it's not cold enough that it falls as snow, but it falls as rain. But as soon as it touches the surface, it becomes ice, so everything gets crusted in ice, and that will break power lines, trees, damage properties, and it's like a much bigger hazard than a snowstorm or a rainstorm could be. So yeah, I think I'm mostly done with the sketches for today. It's been a good stream, I think. Try to okay, not bad. Yikes! Oh wow, Tsuko, that's really intense. I'm catching up on the chat, and people are mentioning storms. In the UK, 2 inches of snow is the Earth-ending storm. Well, here it's more like 2 feet of snow, but yeah. Okay, so yeah, what do I think of the cold press paper? I think it went better than, like, I was lucky in that the only space that was a bit resistant to the water was over here, so it's kind of off to the top and not really noticeable. I'm pretty sure it doesn't show on camera because my camera is not super awesome, but like, hot press paper doesn't know what to do with granulation, as I was saying, so it makes this mottled texture that could be desirable for some effects, but it's also quite weird, and I don't quite know what to think of it so far. But yeah, it took the layers quite well. Not that I layered a lot. I don't often layer a lot, mind you, but yeah, and like, the washes were, you know, not bloom, no blooms on this one. I got a couple of blooms on this one, like one here and one over here, but they're still soft blooms, and there's one here, but that's from the I think that one is from the second layer of water, and I think it's because I put it like that and I didn't remove the extra water there, so it created this bloom. But it takes the inking really well, and I wonder if it could be nice for like gouache, because gouache doesn't granulate. And yeah, and of course illustrative work. I mean, you could come with a colored pencil and work on this a bit more if you wanted, and it wouldn't be too much texture. But yeah, I definitely want to experiment more with the hot press. I do believe that in general I would probably only buy the cold press because the texture is quite light. It's a really smooth cold press, and it's really a better fit for the way I paint, which tends to be more like spontaneous and like the paper really helps with softening or creating more interest in the fact that I don't paint within the lines and I'm a bit sloppy with my colors. Oh no, Cyan, please be careful. Yeah, it's a really nice paper. I really like Moulin du Roi. I will, of course, be experiencing more with it because I really like it. But as far as for washes and granulation, I really do think that the cold press is perhaps better suited. Not that this is bad. I don't think this is bad, but it feels like it's not the proper way to make these colors work out the best. And last thing I will try, and hopefully it's gonna be dry enough, but I will try to remove the tape, because hot press is usually really bad with tape. Okay, this tape hasn't been on for a long time. It's been on for like, what, 2 hours perhaps? So far, I really can't complain. This is Moulin du Roi. It's by Canson, but I think was it in Lindsay's chat yesterday, or perhaps in one of Otto's live stream? But Canson, they own like Arches, they own the Canson XL, Canson Montval, Canson watercolor, and they also have Moulin du Roi. So yeah, they really have something for everyone in there. So paper peeled off perfectly. Didn't even like grab into the paper once. It's still super smooth, super nice. Really pleased with that. I think it's great because like Moulin du Roi, at least for me, is about for a pad of 9x12, it's about $12 for 12 sheets. Yeah, Canson owns Arches, because all the Arches pad have the Canson brand on it. Hold on, I'm trying to get to my Arches pad. Yikes. Okay. Is it written somewhere on there? Doo-doo-doo. Not this one. Perhaps this is an older pad. I was sure I had seen it done by Canson, but I could be wrong. I will grab. What about this one? What about this one? Still doesn't say. Well, maybe I'm wrong. It's entirely possible. I thought I was looking at the Canson paper once, and it was Arches paper black. Bleh. An Arches pad one time, and I saw that it was Canson, but I could be wrong. Of course I could be wrong. How many pads of Arches do I have? Alright, well, oh. That's odd. Okay, I've looked at all my pads of Arches paper, and I have more than one, let's just say that. If you look at this one, like the regular thing, there's no really mention of anything on the back. Same for this one, exact same thing. But if I look at this one, Arches hot press, it's still wrapped, as you can see. There's a big Canson logo on the back. Oh, maybe Canson sold it. I don't really keep up with this stuff. I just, like, once I saw that there was the Canson logo on the back of the Archer's paper, and I was like, oh, that's funny, but I don't really follow up. So maybe they sold it. That would explain why it's not on these ones. Cyan says older pad has Canson logo, newer don't. And Dan says I thought Canson sold it. I guess they did. I love how you pronounce the French names. Well, I have to pronounce them in French because it kind of breaks my brain when I try to say them in English. Like Canson, where do you accent Canson when you say it in English? It boggles my brain. I'm glad because watercolor is really one of the things where I can use my French for good good measure, like with Sennelier and Canson and Moulin du Roi, and you know, all these brands. It's a story as complicated as Game of Thrones. I hope it has a lot less plot holes, though. French teaching streams. Oh, I'm not sure I would be good at teaching French. I could do, like, you know, the basic stuff like paper, paper, papier, papier, brush, pinceau. You know, that kind of weird stuff. I think there's a day, like there's a special day in the year. I think I've seen it once, but a long time ago, and it was like people would do what they regularly do, but in their native language. So that would mean, like, for me making a YouTube video about painting, but completely in French. And like people were doing it in like all sorts of their native languages. It was quite interesting. This paper is not even fully dry yet, and I can still peel off the tape quite effortlessly. Whoa! Yeah, Bun Bun's real name is quite intense. Stuff is dropping. Okay. Yeah, and then you have to repeat papier. Learn French. It would be like learn painting vocabulary in French with Eve. That's what it would be. It's kind of weird though, because like in Montreal, English is really present. So more often than not, my brain thinks in the two languages at once. So even when I speak French, sometimes I will speak words of English in there because the first word that comes to mind is the English word, and sometimes I can really look for a French word and be like, what's that word? And I just can't find it. But it's quite common around here. You sort of have two schools of people generally in the French-speaking community. You have people who speak French and really poor English, because sadly that's a thing, and you have people who speak both, so they will always get confused between both. So I think the French pinceau is a lot like Spanish pincel, and yeah. German pincel as well. Even pencili, the Finnish word kind of sounds like pencil. There's just brush that doesn't sound like anything. Whoa, Gibraltarian is a lot like that, but with a mix of English and Spanish. Huh. It's really complicated being bilingual. It's really messy. Oh, thank you, Sai. That's so nice. I really enjoy the live streams. Basically, like hanging out with a bunch of friends and talking about paints and painting stuff, and going on about silly things, often, and cats. So, anything else? Since I think I'm mostly done, and like the image has been this for like the last 5-10 minutes, so it's maybe a bit boring to watch. Trying to think if I have anything else I can report about. Like Spanglish. Yeah, we have Franglish here. A pineapple. What's wrong with pineapple? Is it? Aren't those like words weird? Like pineapple and grapefruit? Like a pineapple doesn't look like a pine or an apple, and a grapefruit doesn't look like grape. It is a fruit, yeah, but what? Oh, well, thanks, Tsukabu's mom. English. Hey, this is the first stream in a while that I don't end up being completely like sweaty, like way too hot because of, you know, the filming lamps and all that. Issue obfuscation? What? Oh yeah, I understand, Lucy. It's really not like it's kind of a bit similar to what we have here with the province of Quebec. Like we have a very unique French, so I assume that for anyone who doesn't live here, it's kind of maybe kind of hard to keep the dialect like in common in rotation when they speak. It does look like a pine cone, but it doesn't look like an apple. Yes, pineapple is ananas in French, and grapefruit is a pamplemousse, which makes no sense as a word. Like I don't even know what, but at least it's not grapefruit. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. The fact that grapefruit grows like grape. It's gonna be like epic. It's a bit like when you see like a banana cluster on a tree. It's like, oh, that's a lot of bananas. Yikes. Whoa. Finish is awesome. Like it looks great. I love how it looks. Like with the multiple vowels and pamplemousse. Pamplemousse. Alright. Well, thank you very much everyone for this super fun live stream. I'm always super happy that you guys decide to spend the afternoon with me. It's really an honor, and I'm really thankful to Otto for being the super awesome mod as always, and like keeping up with the links and the stuff we mentioned, and always having like the relevant link to share, so we can really go deep on the weird subjects we bring up. And yeah, if you ever have like video suggestions or anything you would like to see in the live streams, you can always leave a comment, or my email is in the about on YouTube. Like, you can write to me, that's perfectly fine. And I will also repeat that I have a PO box, so if you decide you want to send in some postcards, ugly postcards, friend mail. I refuse to call it fan mail because that's weird, but friend mail is pretty awesome. So yeah, it's open, so feel free to use it if you want to. Yeah, so I hope everyone has a really nice day, and I hope that everybody who's too hot will have a relief soon, and everybody who has nice weather, you're really lucky. Enjoy it. My voice is dead, as you can probably see by now. So yeah, thank you very much everyone. Have a lovely day and see you all soon. Bye bye.